what's up, Skyball? Here with Imagination Creation Films, and today we're taking an expanded look at the IRIX 15mm full-frame cinema lens. Get it? Now, before we jump in, just a little housekeeping. IRIX did send this lens over to me for review, but no money has changed hands, and they have absolutely no input on the review or get to see the review beforehand. So, what can I say? Subscribe. So this is the IRIX 15mm full-frame T2.6 cinema lens that, well, like its sibling, was designed from a stills lens, which does give it a few quirks, but fortunately not that many. Now, this is a very nice wide lens. At 15mm and covering full frame, you'll be able to pull some really good, fairly sharp wides from this somewhat compact design. The T stop range is from T26 to T22, and this is also one of the first lenses that IRIX made, along with the 11 and the 150. And as I've said in previous IRIX reviews, they really learned a ton from these lenses and, well, really improved each new lens. And to be fair, it isn't a bad lens, it's quite the opposite. It's just slightly less everything than IRIX's latest releases. That's probably the more fair way to say it. Now, it's available in many lens mounts: PL, EF, RF, Micro Four Thirds, Sony E mount, Leica L mount, Nikon Z mount. Yeah. Both of the 0.8 mod 32 pitch gears line up with the other IRIX lenses, so lens swaps are super fast. Now, the 15mm image circle is 43.3mm, just like its wider sibling, the 11mm. But the 15mm doesn't seem to show the slight vignetting that the 11 does when wide open on some full-frame sensors. Not sure how that math is working, but, well, I guess it's next level. Math.
Yeah, Mom, I got math level 4! Cheetos now! Math.
Now, its close focus is close as you would expect from an ultra-wide angle lens at, well, just under 10 inches. It's not a heavy lens at, well, it's just under 2 pounds, but also it's not a cheap feeling lens. It's well machined and, well, very smooth focus and iris rotation, well, that we've come to respect with the IRIX lenses. Now, speaking of the focus rotation is 180 degrees and the iris rotation is about 75 degrees. And like the other IRIX lenses, it has luminous focus marks to help you see in low light. And also, like other IRIX lenses, it comes with a foot for support. Support those lenses, folks. You can make a difference in a lens mount's life. And speaking of support, you can make a difference in a filmmaker's life too. Just, down below, support the channel. Become a member. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. The 15mm also comes with a small lens hood to keep the sun off the front element. Now, the good news here is that the 15's 15 element design, that's kind of a bit of a mouthful there, allows for the bulbous front element to be recessed, allowing the clean and unobtrusive use of matte boxes and filters. So that's a big plus over the 11. And the front outside diameter is 95mm like the other IRIXs, so that's pretty standard, and also common front mounting, so you can mount those matte boxes. And the internal filter threads, which do exist on this one, are 86mm. So if you wanted to screw on that filter, yeah, you can do that too. Now, the lens is fairly sharp, but certainly not that close to the sharpest ultra-wide angle lenses out there. Wide open, you can see the softness, but at T4, it's really rather nice. The distortion on the sides is noticeable, but nowhere near as noticeable as the 11mm. It's not even worth a little joke, like I would usually say. Well, I guess technically, that was a joke. Well, that's for the comment section to decide. Go ahead. Do your worst. Now, there is some chromatic aberration visible, but it's not as much as the 11, and it's funny that I keep referring to the 11, but I think it's important to compare the two. I wasn't very nice to the 11. I was fair and honest and, well, pointed out the flaws that it has. The 15 does not have near the flaws that the 11 does, so I think I'd say if you like the 11, you'll love the 15. And if you didn't like the 11, well, the 15 is worth a look. And if you absolutely loved the 11, cool. Yeah. The other difference between this lens and the 11 is this one is much faster at a t2.6. It's still not going to be a bokeh monster, but that's a challenge for any ultra-wide, really. Now, many of the oddities with the 15 come from the fact that it and its brother were designed as stills glass. And like I mentioned in the 11mm review, stills glass doesn't need certain problems solved. But when used or converted to cinema glass, well, they can show up. And as mentioned before, this is something that IRIX changed after these designs. They started developing new lenses as cinema glass first, which is evident in their 45 and 30 and the beautiful images that they create. So what are the pros and cons of the IRIX 15mm cine lens? Well, pros, it is an affordable, full-frame, ultra-wide cinema lens, and it produces a fairly sharp image through, well, most of the lens area, but it does fall a little soft on the edges. Its design matches the others in the cine lineup, and, it is a quality build. Now, cons, it does demonstrate some distortion on the edges, though nowhere near as much as the 11 does, and CA is noticeable, although not as bad as the 11. There's no hiding it, but, it's not like the 11. The lens cover, well, it's meh. It's kind of a strange design. I don't like it, but fortunately, they have changed it on the new lens designs, and it's a more flat lens cover. So that's my thoughts on the IRIX 15mm cine lens. Overall, I would have to place it at the second weakest lens in their lineup. And I was quite hard on the 11mm, and well, this one, I'm glad to say, I don't have to be as hard. It's a very usable lens, and one that I use much more than I use the 11. I've used it for a lot of time-lapse as well, as it actually provides a very nice wide field of view on full-frame cameras, and it's got a pleasing look. The IRIX 15mm cine lens, it's not perfect. It's reasonably great. What do you think of this lens? Do you think the visuals agree with my take on it? Do you like the look? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you think of it. Reviews are always useful, but they're always subjective. And, well, I like to make sure that others' eyes match what my eyes see. But in the end, as long as my eyes like it, that's what I base my purchases on. And you should too. And as always, as I like to leave it, don't let your passions center around your life. Let your life center around your passions.